Now, I mention the Bible, and probably I will. I mention it not from a religious standpoint. Please understand that. See, the Bible didn't come here as a religious book. It came here as a biological, historical book for mankind. And when I say mankind, that includes male and female. Is that clear? This is my stance on the Bible. It's not religious, as we know religion. Political, broken up into many pieces, fighting each other. That's not what I look at. I see it as I told you. Now, what is the Bible telling us? The Bible is telling us we are in evil times, and it's given us some types of instructions how to get through these evil times. And some people pay attention and get through it. Now, in countries, or even in the United States, shall we call it the backwoods, where people are now so stretchful, they read the book, and they live 80, 90 years, and without being all hooked up in some hospital to die. They just go to bed and die. And that's the way it should be. We're living in a risk environment. And we must recognize that the risk environment is what the Bible tells us about the first curse, and that's childbirth. Remember that. Childbirth is not what the medical profession wants us to think. It's beautiful. To me, it is the most disgusting thing that can happen. Now, I've witnessed one. When I was in the Navy, there was a gynecologist there, and all these doctors used to get together, and they used to call me in too. And we would have discussions. And I told them that we could many times assist people who are having problems delivering their children. No wonder this gynecologist had a difficult case, and he called me in. You think you can do something? I said, I'll adjust her and let's see what happens. I can't hurt her. So I adjusted her, bing, bing, and the child came out. Okay? But the lady, all that blood, is that clean? That's disgusting. We're here with a terrible, if you like to call it, sin, which means a terrible structure that's putting us into a position to suffer. And we suffer even when we are born, because we are most likely much too big for us to go through that small canal. She suffers, and so does the child. And that's why the child, when it comes out, is crying. It's hurting. Now let's take this and say thoughts are things. And they are. So instead of this thought being a child, it's something we think about, a house or something. But the same thing happens. We give birth to this particular thought with this impurity, And this is why many times we complain, I think of things, but they don't come out the way I want them to come out. How in heavens can they? It's impossible. So this is why in 1895, chiropractic was born. How was it born? It was born impure. But this is the way it has to be. This is not a question of condemning or praising. This is a question of reporting. And this is what I'm reporting to you. This is what I get, and this is what I give you. So when chiropractic came here in 1895, it came here under travail, meaning labor pain. Yeah. And this is why chiropractic, as it went on and on and on, it was taken away and crushed and brought into all sorts of politics where we don't belong. And today, in many offices, we don't recognize it as a chiropractic office. Yeah. They got all kinds of machines trying to straighten us out. It's not the way it works. All we're supposed to do is work on that tree of life, which is the vertebral column, and assist people, make them feel better. As my first chiropractor, Bill Werner, said to me, life will be sweeter for you. Yeah, and it was sweeter. But I never really got completely well, neither has anybody ever gotten completely well. And I was a seeker. I wanted to know why. And this is why I'm still here. Because I'm a seeker. I knew chiropractic came here for a good reason. Why? 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 And the why is because we're still not pure. And what makes us impure? Now, some of you heard this already, and if you haven't, listen carefully. When you go to a medical doctor, he's running around with his, or she is, with the stethoscope. That makes them real big. They're going to examine your heart. And where is your heart? Your heart is on the left side. Now I'm going to show you something. And again, remember, this is not religion. It's historical facts. I got the big one upstairs, but this will suffice for now. Where is that heart? Left field or center field? Can you see it? Center field, not left field. Not.